what day it is. It's Tuesday, Greg. And no, I'm not talking about the two-piece chicken special Tuesday. I'm talking about
that too.
I'm talking about it's the Sports Court Tuesday. We're in here every Tuesday live on Facebook live on YouTube. And Greg, the NFL draft went off, and boy, was it a show from Cleveland. I enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
I know you're happy. We're going to talk about the Cowboys, of course. You know we're going to get into the Cowboys and what they did. They really made some good moves. We're going to talk about that, Greg. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks. Trey Lance going for fourth, and of course
third.
I'm sorry.
Third.
That's right. Third to the
Teamwork,
San
baby.
Francisco 49ers.
Teamwork makes the
There you
dream
go.
work.
And of course, we're not going to forget about Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson and where they went. And we're also going to get into the Astros versus the Yankees. It's hard to believe that it's been a whole year. They haven't played since 2019, and Altuve walked off the Astros off the field of Minute Maid and right into a World Series.
Right.
What an amazing play that was. And now these two
When
teams.
Chapman just threw him a
hanging slider.
Hanging slider, like, take me out of the ballpark.
These teams are going to square off. Both teams, they're not off to the start they thought they'd be off to, but they're right in the thick of things in their division, and they're two teams that are looking strong as of late. We're going to break down that matchup, and if you hadn't noticed, I know it ain't sunny in here, but there's a lot of shade being thrown the Astros' way, and I got my shades on, and I know if you're walking around Houston today, if the sun is in your eyes or if it's a shade for one of them hating-ass Yankees fans, put your shades on and just tell them we don't care. The Astros are in it to win it, and I can't wait to talk about that series.
Brush your shoulders off.
But, Greg, Trevor Lawrence goes number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Talk about that, and just tell me about your draft experience Thursday through Saturday.
Hey, man. Hey, Eddie. Nice opening to the show, my man. And we also have Eddie's brother in the house, Eric. Welcome to the show, Eric. Eric is in the background showing us some support. Talented brother himself, like his brother is. But, Eddie, hey, man. I'm Gregory Beatty, the Sports Court with Eddie Cox. House of Legends Entertainment, Grade A, the house. But, hey, man, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought Cleveland, the fans of Cleveland, the city of Cleveland, I thought they put on an excellent show. I just thought it was grade A. I just thought everything was grade A. Nice experience, of course, completely different from last year when we were in the serious COVID situation. And so it was glad to see people back mingling together, back having a good time. The players and Commissioner Roger Goodell hugging it out. And, when these guys are realizing their dream, it was just so good to see so many of those guys, all those guys, dreams come true, man. And just the emotion, the raw emotion that they were showing, the family support. You see what Quiddy Pay told his mother live on air, you're now retired. Just think about that, what they had to go through coming from their country. And, I just thought overall it was a great experience. It was very well put together, and there was a lot of talent in this draft. That made the draft so intriguing because not only round 1, but you found some superstars in round 2 and beyond. But
absolutely. Moves were made, Greg.
Yes, moves were made. You remember last week when I said it's going to be some Willing and Dillon? That's no secret it's going to be some Willing and Dillon in the draft. It always is. We can talk about Justin Fields and him Willing and Dillon, Chicago Willing and Dillon, and getting that done.
And you mentioned the deep
I'm talking about
draft.
Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, like you said.
Absolutely. I'm about to kick it back to you. You mentioned that it was a deep draft, and if you're watching from Houston, Texas, where we're currently stationed right now, then and if you're a fan of Houston, they didn't have a pick until the 3rd round. They ended up walking away with 2 third-round picks. We're going to dip into those a little bit, too. If you follow the Texans, I follow them very closely. We're going to talk about David
That's the number 1 Texans fan right there.
Nico Collins,
hey,
two
man,
guys who, in a deep draft, some of these pundits out there, these are guys who you hear things with Davis Mills like, oh, well, if he would have just come out next year, maybe he's a first rounder, maybe even the top of the first round guy.
Mm-hmm. He had the knee injury from
right,
Stanford.
Right. And then Nico Collins, here's a guy that's big, tall, and fast, something that Houston really hasn't ever had anybody that tall.
That was a good pick.
With that kind of speed. But not to go off on a tangent, man. Talk
you
about
talk
Trevor
about your
Lawrence.
team.
Look, I can go all the way back to when me and Greg started doing this together. Greg, the founder of the Sports Court, was doing it for quite a while before he picked me up to join with him. And man, it's been fantastic ever since joining the show. But going back to those days, some of the first shows we did together, you always talked about Trevor Lawrence. Now this was the guy.
Yeah.
Whatever franchise
from day one,
whatever franchise gets this guy, he's going to change the trajectory of that franchise immediately. And when you look at Jacksonville, you look at the overhaul, Urban Meyer coming in there, really changing the way they do things. Big props to Khan, the owner, for what he's done and bringing in the right guys.
I agree.
I think Jacksonville it's one of the most interesting teams, even though I hate them because they're in the Texans division. They're a very interesting team. But Greg,
I'm very high
talked
on
about Trevor Lawrence and what he's going to do. So tell me a little bit about what Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer, what they're going to do for the Jaguars now that you've seen what they just did in the draft.
Yes. I'll say this. I think the city of Jacksonville should be very excited right now about what their Jaguars, the trajectory that they're on. Again, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think they're in a position where I'm not going to say they're going to hit the ground running to where they're like a 12-14. I think they're playing 17 games this year. That 17th game not going to count when it comes to the stats and all that. This is going to take a while for that. I'm a traditionalist, bro. It's like, What did you do in 16 games? You know what I'm saying? But I think they're going to be good more sooner than later. And I think with the addition of Urban Meyer, who I love, former Buckeye coach, led us to a national championship, the first BCS national championship ever in 2015 with Zeke Elliott and 12 Gauge, Cardell Jones, and all those guys. But Urban Meyer, he's going to come in. He's going to bring an energy to that team. He's a very good coach. He's a very good motivator. And he realizes he has a gem, a franchise quarterback, a guy that he has the potential to be the best that ever do it if you go by physical traits and the way he was touted and him living up to it so far. And I wholeheartedly agree. This guy can be the best to ever do it. So you have Urban Meyer coming in there. It was some talent on that team already. I think Urban Meyer is going to bring the best out of everyone on that team. He's going to make everybody play to the highest level possible week in and week out. You got Trevor Lawrence. You have some weapons on the outside. Then you go and you get Travis Etienne in the second round.
Well, no, they got
like you spoke about last week.
Well, they actually got him with their second.
The first pick and the second pick in the first round.
Yes.
Right. They sure did. That's what I meant.
Every time you turn around, Jacksonville was on the clock. It seemed like
I know
early in the draft.
Yeah, and they made some good picks, some very good picks, and you have 2 home run hitters now. You have Trevor Lawrence who can make it happen, who can win 3 games by himself or more. But you have DJ Chark. You have Etienne now, so you have to respect the run game because Etienne can take it to the house at any moment. And then Urban, what he's doing. Now, who did they get in the second round?
Tyson Campbell,
cornerback,
Georgia.
speed. And you see what Urban is doing. He's going for speed out the gate. He knows speed kills. And I don't care what you say. Yeah, you're supposed to build a franchise from the inside out. Now, he's definitely going to do that. He's definitely going to make sure his interior on both sides of the ball are playing at a high level. But he has some weapons at his disposal. And I think Urban Meyer is going to get the best out of these guys. And I think Trevor Lawrence and some of that home run hitting ability that they have now with Travis Etienne, Jacksonville is going to be – they're going to be all right, bro.
Look, when I think about an Urban Meyer offense, and I do want to get into – I want to get your take on – there's a lot
now
of
he has to make sure he keep him as a drop back passer.
Right.
Now, don't draft Travis Etienne, Eddie, real quick. Don't draft part of that draft, and hopefully part of that well, I'm just saying. I hope Urban Meyer's thinking, which I'm sure it wasn't. I mean, he was getting because Etienne can take it to the house. But hope part of what that thinking was because we're going to run that run option with Trevor Lawrence. Now, don't run Trevor into the ground, Urban.
I did want to just sneak in there a little bit because there's a lot of rumors swirling around Tim Tebow actually joining this football team and trying out, not as a quarterback, as a tight end.
He's from Jacksonville.
But I think about the old Urban offenses.
He should have played tight end when he first.
Maybe
after they cut him from playing quarterback,
that you wouldn't have believed he would have been able to do.
Nah,
he
did good, but after a while he should have just been like, okay, let me play. Okay, but
I think he tried. But talking about
he tried baseball.
Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to do, I think there's no doubt in my mind they're going to run the football. And they're going to run it in a very unique way. And Urban Meyer is going to bring his smash mouth style running game to the NFL.
It'll be physical.
I know that a lot of people like to talk about the flashy players that have played under him, but let me tell you something. Urban Meyer can scheme up some running game, and they already have the pieces in place to do it. You draft Travis Etienne right there with your second pick in the first round. You've already got a James Robinson. If you play fantasy football, maybe you don't watch all the games on Sunday, but you play fantasy football, you know the name James Robinson. He probably won somebody a fantasy league this year or two. The guy was a stud back there. Now
they have some talent on that team.
Now he's your number 2 guy. There's no reason to put Trevor Lawrence in that much harm's way early on in the year. Let him learn. Let him pick it up at his own pace.
I'm not saying don't run him every now and then, but
doing that, you got to protect. You got to lean on that running game. You got to lean on Etienne. Lean on the short passing game. Do things similar to what he did at Clemson. We've seen it be successful before with Deshaun Watson here in Houston. Bill O'Brien's offense looked as prolific as it ever had whenever he was just running some of the same stuff that Dabo Swinney was running in Clemson. Watson hit the ground running with it. He was very effective. And I think Trevor Lawrence has a chance to do some of the same stuff under the tutelage of Urban Meyer.
Yeah, hey, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, again, Trevor Lawrence is a once-in-a-lifetime, again, probably the highest touted prospect since John Elway. And the guy is 6'6", 215, can run like a 4.4, 4.5 in the 40-yard dash, very athletic. So you definitely want to take advantage of his athleticism. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I just hope they don't use him where they're just playing smash mouth football. And I'm sure Urban Meyer, I mean, that's why he's not one of the best coaches of all time for nothing. So I'm sure he understands that. You have Darrell Bevell, you have Schottenheimer, and Trevor Lawrence can make every throw in the book. He's a great leader. I mean, the guy is a winner. He's been a winner since high school. So
since Remember the Titans.
Yeah. Hey,
sunshine.
Yeah. Hey,
sunshine.
Hey.
California sunshine. Hey.
Yes, man. Trevor Lawrence.
I can't wait to see what
happens. He can get down.
With Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Now let's drop down. Pick number 2. It goes as planned. The Jets take Zach Wilson. How do you see this working out?
Well, I think the Jets had a great draft. At least their first 2 or 3 picks. Of course, Zach Wilson was a given. And again, after watching this highlight reel, I mean, the dude looks like he can probably be something like a Patrick Mahomes. So, again, I'm looking forward to really seeing what he can do. I see the talent. I see the arm talent on this guy. I mean, he seems like he can be a special player. And the Jets, he's right there in New York. Again, I listened to him in an interview. I listen to all these guys in those interviews, man, and they're very impressive. And I like Mac Jones. I like his personality. I mean, these guys, they really just get it, and I love listening to those guys. And I really like listening to Zach Wilson talk. Seems like a guy that's very, very, very much a hard worker, very disciplined, dedicated to the game. The guy talks like he wants to be the best to ever do it. And I like his moxie. I like his attitude to go along with what I see on the football field. So I think the New York Jets, they may have found themselves a franchise quarterback, a legit franchise quarterback.
He's bought in. He's bought
I'm bought in. I'm bought in. And then I like the lineman pick. And then I like the lineman. Right. The upside is there, definitely. And I like the lineman, Vera Tucker, who I talked about last week, Elijah Vera Tucker. I like him, too, going with that second pick. And who did they get in the third round? They got a receiver.
I got it right here.
They got a receiver.
Elijah Moore goes
I like
2,
that.
34th overall.
From Ole Miss?
Ole Miss.
Yes, I like that. Very quick, shifty. I mean, a great player. I mean, that's probably – he could be the best receiver in the draft if he really plays up to his ability. So they got them.
And he's the guy that you're going to put in the middle of the field, running that slot receiver – the guy that can really become a
comes in and out of his breaks
Zach
like
Wilson, and he's one of those guys that he has the type of speed that if them linebackers or safeties lose him coming across, or if there's one of them kind of plays, you can see him making some house calls.
No doubt about it. I mean, he's a big play guy. I mean, the guy comes in and out of his breaks like none other, man. I watch him run his routes. I'm like, man, that dude gonna blow his knee out, bro. I'm like, this dude is gonna blow his knee out the way he comes in and out of those breaks, or an ankle or something. But hey, he's a young buck. He'll be all right.
What else is crazy about the Jets as I'm watching them draft Zach Wilson, and you look at a quarterback like Zach Wilson, and you think about Patrick Mahomes because he's compared to him a lot. These types of quarterbacks, you think about in past drafts where they may have gone, even if they're a little bit undersized or maybe they just do some things that are unorthodox. That is now looked at as a plus, where it used to be looked at as a negative. And I start to think about this Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak coaching tree that seems to be spreading out throughout the NFL and really taking over things. These teams
Saleh is
are
a great coach. That's a great hire for the Jets.
Yeah,
right.
And you know who they have as their offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, and he's running that same Shanahan system that we've seen these types of quarterbacks flourish in.
Right.
As a matter of fact, you've seen all types of quarterbacks flourish in this type of offense. You just think about, well, if he just had a little bit more of this, or if he just had a little bit more of that, if Alex Smith just had a little bit bigger arm.
Speaking of Alex Smith,
but
kudos to him, man. Great job, well done.
He has retired.
He retired.
But
like I predicted he would do.
The quarterback in those systems, he's always been missing something. Hell, Matt Schaub had some 4,000-yard passing seasons, almost 5,000-yard passing seasons in this offense. But those quarterbacks are always just a little bit off when it comes to the perfect fit.
Right.
And then in comes a guy like Patrick Mahomes. In comes a guy like Zach Wilson. And now all of a sudden, these offenses all around the league are
they got a chance to blossom.
They're going to start drafting these guys, these types of quarterbacks, and things are going to get exciting.
Hey, you know what?
Jets, another one of those teams to keep a close eye on.
Yeah,
and their transformation that started with the hiring of Robert Saleh.
I totally agree. That's a great hire by them. And he seems like he's so far that first draft, those first few rounds at least. I mean, he got him some firepower. Of course, Sam Darnold, to go along with some of those guys you were talking about. Sam Darnold, of course, is now with the Carolina Panthers. But Zach Wilson, it's just that this year, to your point about the quarterbacks, this season, man, it was just, again, what was it, 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round? I mean, and it's some talent at the quarterback position. And, of course, he went to, and then, again, I think Zach Wilson is one of those guys. He looks like he can be special, and you take that chance on him.
Right.
And you put those weapons around him like we're talking about. And if they can coach him up well, and I mean, it's going to take some time, but he just seems like he's going to be that guy where he's not going to be a bust. He's not going to be a bust, and he's going to be something special. And obviously, that's what the 49ers think about Trey Lance at number 3. Now, I said last week that I thought Justin Fields would go 3, but really 2. The thing about it is, I was just also saying that they're probably going to pick somebody athletic like a Justin Fields. Or my thinking was, like, why move up to 3 if you knew Mac Jones was going to be there at where he was in the draft?
They never wanted Mac Jones.
Yeah. So they didn't pick Justin Fields, but they picked Trey Lance, a dual-threat quarterback who has a lot of potential. Probably not as seasoned as Justin Fields is right now, but he's a guy who the talent looks good on tape. I mean, hopefully he's not another Josh Freeman when it comes down to it.
No, I don't know. I don't see that.
Well, I'm just saying, Josh Freeman showed a lot of those same traits. Maybe not as fast as this guy does look special, and of course I want to see him succeed. I mean, of course I want to see the young man succeed. So they took Trey Lance. I'm really excited to see how his NFL career pans out, how soon he takes over for Jimmy Garoppolo.
And when Daryl tunes in, maybe he's not here yet, but I wonder what his take is on the pick.
He loves it. He already told me.
Okay, because I know that he really wanted Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And a lot of 49ers fans really wanted Justin
Well, he's
Fields.
okay with Trey Lance. He wanted Fields, yeah.
Real quick, do you feel like they had to go up to 3 to get that guy? Do you feel like that maybe they jumped the gun a little bit? Maybe they paid a little bit too much. I mean, if he ends up becoming, the next Pat Mahomes, then it'll all be a moot point. But I'm just saying.
And see, that's what everybody wants, the next Pat Mahomes.
They could have traded up
Pat Mahomes. These guys need to thank Pat Mahomes.
Right.
But,
and Andy Reid.
But you know what? With Trey Lance, I don't know because.
Look at where Fields went.
I think he would have been gone before their pick, though. He would have been gone before their pick. And, of course, Miami.
Well, it was at 12, wasn't it?
They were at 12.
Well, where did Fields go to? It was 11 to the Bears, who moved up.
Yeah. But Trey Lance was going to be gone though.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to ask you. You think another team would have jumped up and got Trey Lance?
I think Trey would have been gone.
Fields?
I mean, I think even maybe if he was there at 4, even maybe I think if Trey Lance was there at 4, I think teams are so intrigued with his upside I think maybe the Falcons would have even taken him. And I don't know why. Well, maybe not. They didn't take Justin Fields, but I just think he would have been gone.
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering.
I just think he would have been gone by 12.
Was it the 49ers who knew other NFL teams thought this way about Trey Lance? Or was
think
it
so.
Just the 49ers who felt this way about Trey Lance?
I think they knew the buzz. I think they knew the buzz of people talking about his upside. And I think that they probably just thought, the more they evaluated him, his second pro day, he put on the show. It showed that he wanted to be the last person that they saw. He had the wherewithal to say, hey, let all these guys, Justin Fields that just had a pro day a couple of days before that, his second one, he say, okay, I'm going to be the last guy you remember throwing the football. And he put on the show, and the 49ers fell in love with him right there. And they knew other teams were doing the same thing. And so I think they just, they probably had 3 quarterbacks that they were considering.
Well, that's what they said.
Right. They probably had, Justin Fields was a consideration. I'm sure about that, to go along with Mac Jones.
Call me crazy. I feel like if they don't take Trey Lance at 3, I think that he's going to slide just like Justin Fields slid because, like I mentioned a little bit last week.
Go through the list.
The intrigue for the
Cincinnati
talent
was
after
5.
that.
Philadelphia was 6. Detroit was 7. Who was 8? You think Detroit would have took Trey Lance? Would have taken Trey Lance?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think he would have slid. I
No,
think they could have gotten
golf.
him at 12.
Okay, who's number 8? Who's 8
Let me
pick?
pull up the order real quick because I know the Dolphins are in there. Carolina's at 8.
Okay,
they
Carolina.
Didn't take Fields, so that tells me that they probably would have passed on Lance because I can.
Now, didn't they make that move before they made that move for your boy
Sam Darnold?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Now, who was
you got the Broncos at
the Broncos? 9. The Broncos were supposed to be rumored to take a quarterback.
Eagles trade
Surprised
up to
they didn't
10.
take Justin Fields still.
Eagles trade up to 10, not for a quarterback, but for a wide receiver. And then the Bears from the Giants jump up and get Justin Fields. I thought that was the move of the draft.
Oh, come on, man. I text you. I say Jay Fields came up even better. He came up anyway. But like I thought he was going to go, I wanted to see him in a big market for one to showcase his talents but with a team, and Chicago made the move of the night. You talking about some willing and dealing. They did the right thing by trading up, getting Justin Fields at that number 11 pick, and I think he goes in. And I'm all about let him play. You go through live action. I know they got Andy Dalton, but you let Andy Dalton be the backup. Now, we'll see how quick Justin Fields adjusts. This year, they're going to have a full training camp. So I think Justin Fields he goes in day one as a starter. But you let him play, and you let him go through the bullets, the live action, and learn on the fly. Now, granted, you definitely want to protect him. They took an offensive lineman, I think, with their second pick. But you definitely want to keep him upright. But that's why he's going to use his athleticism as well. But I thought that's a great pick. They got them a franchise quarterback, a guy that's a great leader that should have been the number 2 pick, in my humble opinion.
Right.
Should have been the number 2 pick and probably could have vouched for the number 1 pick. But I'll be honest and get after Trevor Lawrence. But Justin Fields, the second best quarterback in this draft, Chicago came up.
No means. Whatsoever.
Hey,
not
but
this guy.
That too.
Not Greg Beatty.
He said I'm not biased about Ohio State, huh? I got you, man.
No, but you know what? I feel the same way. I told you that I kind of like Justin Fields' readiness for the NFL game just based on his moxie and toughness and what he showed in the college football playoff. I think that one of the most impressive things was, they only had to give up, they give up the pick at 20, but they only give up a first-round pick next year. And a 4th and a 5th, I think, in the year after that. I thought
but
it was
solidify your
I
quarterback
thought it was
for the next 15 years.
A really a fair deal for them. I don't think they got fleeced by him. I don't think they were paid.
No,
I think it was.
I think he's that special.
It was right there. It was a perfect deal. It worked for both sides. The Giants get a great haul. They need a lot of pieces. There's a lot of holes in that New York squad. But Chicago, now the countdown begins to when Matt Nagy really blossoms into the head coach he's supposed to be, coming from that Andy Reid system. And the Chicago Bears finally put together an offense that can do something that matches what Khalil Mack and those guys on the defensive side of the ball
and even though their defense was a bit overrated last year, they can start playing like they're capable of playing too.
Do things for you.
I know.
There's a lot of 3 and outs. How that wears on a defense.
That's true. That's true.
Course of a season.
That's true. That's a great point. But they had a talent over there. So hopefully Justin Fields, I think Justin Fields will be that guy and I think he's going to hit the ground running. Of course, you have Allen Robinson as one of their receivers, so eventually they can put some more weapons around him. But I think Justin Fields is going to – they have their franchise quarterback, a guy who's a great leader, competitor, and they have their franchise quarterback for the next 15 years, barring injury. I always throw that in there. That should go without saying, but I always say barring injury.
Yeah.
But they have their franchise quarterback. They've never had a quarterback that's thrown for 5,000 yards in the season.
No. You mean Rex Grossman? He never topped
Even
5,000?
Jim McMahon didn't. Even Jim McMahon, but
or
definitely
the
not
great
Rex Grossman.
Jay Cutler?
Yeah. So hey, Chicago. I love that Justin Fields move by them. That's the imprints of Matt Nagy right there. He's saying, I'm going all in because my job depends on it. So I'm going to pick my guy, and I'm going to live and die with my guy. And that's exactly what Matt Nagy is saying.
And think about the dominoes that had to fall for that whole trade to take place, because if you think about right before that at pick 10, Philly jumps up to grab Devontae Smith.
I thought that was a great move.
The Giants were eyeing a wide receiver. They wanted a wide receiver, and there's a lot of talk that if Devontae Smith is still there on the board, the Giants aren't going anywhere. They're going to take that pick. They're going to put him into that offense and hope Daniel Jones and him can make some magic. But, however, Philly jumps up in front of him. The NFC East was doing things this draft. We're going to get to your Cowboys in just a second.
Oh, really? It's all
Philly
good.
jumps up, takes Devontae Smith. So the Giants like, you know what? We'll trade back. We'll target a receiver that we had graded a little bit later in the first round. And they went and got the kid out of Florida, Kadarius Toney.
Yes, I like that.
Do you like that pick? I mean, this is another big receiver that can do some things. Are you excited about seeing him now 2 times a year over there in Jerry World and once at the Meadowlands?
No, man, I thought the Giants I thought
that's
that
a
was
shrewd
a great
move to go
that's
back
a
to
very
20
shrewd
and
move.
get Toney still.
That's a shrewd move because Toney could be the most explosive receiver
man.
in college football. Just think about him and Pitts, what they were doing at the University of Florida. But I thought that was a great pickup. Kadarius Toney, he can also take it to the house on punt returns too. So they definitely got them a big play threat for Daniel Jones to go along with Sterling Shepard and these guys. But that was a great pickup by the Giants. He's a big play receiver who can score. Now you replace an Odell Beckham Jr. for real with a guy like that. Here's a guy that can score from anywhere on the field at any time he touches the ball. And, hey, man, that's a big-time pickup by the New York Giants. And then you have Saquon Barkley coming back. So that's even going to make them even more – that's going to make them even more dangerous.
Yeah, more explosive.
More explosive.
You know, less weight
more things you can do
on the shoulders of the young
Kind of open it up
Jones.
for Kadarius Toney.
Absolutely. But Saquon, I can't wait to see him get back, you know, to full strength and to be ready to, go shred some defenses. I know some of his fantasy owners were really disappointed with how things turned out recently, but I want to see him put that full season together and really shine. He's one of the most exciting NFL players to watch. You almost forget about him because he's been off the field so much, but damn, I went and saw some highlights just scrolling through YouTube, and you almost forget how explosive the guy is. Really a treat to watch. That offense is going to be something. Now tell me about
He's coming back from that knee injury.
Your Dallas Cowboys sitting here from getting this pick from the Dolphins after it belonged to the 49ers, then the Eagles, then the Dolphins. It ended up being the Dallas Cowboys, and who'd they take?
Hey, the guy that I said that I wanted them to take last week. Now, granted, Michael Parsons. Now, granted.
You would have thought
they were going to take a cornerback.
If you'd have heard Greg, look, there is. While Greg does know a lot about sports, he's very, very technologically challenged. There it is. I knew I was going to be able to spit it out if I just concentrated. And so when he sends me text messages, 90% of the time it is a voice message on the text, almost like a two-way radio text.
You're tired of typing. I do too much writing as it is.
I thought Greg hit the lottery whenever he sent me a voice message after they picked Micah Parsons.
You know I had to.
He was doing a happy dance wherever you were watching the draft. You were screaming at the top of your lungs.
Yes, sir.
Great pick by the Cowboys. For real. Able to trade back and get a guy like Micah Parsons. Tell me what you think is coming now.
They're
not going to pick up Van Der Esch's, his fifth-year option, so dominoes starting to fall there. But really, who cares? You got Micah Parsons. This could be the stalwart in the middle of your defense from here.
Let me tell you,
the foreseeable future.
Like you heard on your voice text, I was very excited about the pick. That's why I was Hey, man, that's a very, 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 very good move right there. Now, granted, they would have taken Patrick Surtain, which I was surprised that Denver took him. But hey, so they would have taken the
I'm gonna
cornerback.
give you
That
my
was more of a
reason
need
why
right there.
that
But I
happened.
just think Michael Parsons was so special, and the reason I'm so excited about that pick, and I love the guy's personality too, man. I mean, when I saw him in the interview right after that, I was like, that's the guy right there. I mean, the guy's tenacious on the field, super athletic, a guy that can wreck shop on your defense now that you have Van Der Esch, who they declined the fifth-year option on. And I love Van Der Esch, but he can't stay healthy. So we'll see what happens with him. You have Jalen
They're gonna
Smith.
try to get him at a discount, I think.
I think they are too. And then you have Jalen Smith, who doesn't really play well in pass coverage. He kind of, after they signed him to that money, as talented as he is, he kind of had a down year last year.
But boys, he
now
a thumper.
you put a guy like this, a guy that I think has Hall of Fame potential. You know, I really think Michael Parsons has Hall of Fame potential, and you see what Devin White did for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their championship run this year. I think Michael Parsons, and you can play him all over the field. You can play him all. Hey, you can cover him on. I mean, the guy runs a 4.38, 4.36 40. You can cover him all over the field, and you can put him all over the field and let him cover anybody, tight ends to receivers. I don't know about receivers just yet, but running backs coming out of the backfield, and the guy is that athletic, man. And I really love the move. Like he said in his first interview, I'm a ball hawk. He say, see ball, get ball. I like to go after the ball.
I think I don't know if anybody's making this comparison. And for all I know, everybody could be making this comparison. But I think Luke Kuechly. I think this could be a guy like Luke Kuechly, just the heart and soul of your defense and the brain trust of your entire defense. The Cowboys needed somebody like this so badly. Like we talk about Van Der Esch and all the upside and all the talent in the world, but man, is he banged up all the time. Jalen Smith coming back from injury, showing some real promise. Man, he laid some hits on Deshaun Watson whenever they went and visited the Dallas Cowboys. What was that?
Oh, he's physical now.
2019?
He's physical.
This guy can bring some things to the table, but he does lack in other areas, like you mentioned. So you add a guy that is the total package
That you can keep on the field.
Yes, and Luke Kuechly had a great career. Concussions cut that short, but that's the type of linebacker that he was. You could play that safe cover two man under or two deep sink coverage that teams like to run when you have that explosive ball hawking middle linebacker in the middle of the field. A Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, a Luke Kuechly, guys like that. If you don't have that guy, good luck.
Totally agree.
Devin White. If you don't have him, good luck on trying to run those types of defenses. But if you
They're the quarterback of the
you
defense.
can really limit what a team can do when you can keep your two safeties over the top of their receivers, take away the deep stuff, you take away the big play, and then you've got a guy who can also take away what they're trying to do underneath. It really puts offenses in a tight spot.
That again, and then maybe he can eventually cover some receivers. I mean, I just think he's that athletic. Of course, first thing first, you don't want to get him in there doing. I mean, I think Dan Quinn is going to have a perfect scheme for him, but he's a guy again that can cover, so you can keep him on the field. And then he causes havoc all over the field. I love his attitude. Again, when I listen to him in the interview, I said, I love his attitude. And like he said, see ball, get ball. That's all he's about. And he's always around the football. And I just think that kind of player on your defense, when you have a guy like that sitting there in that position. Now, granted, they would have taken a Patrick Surtain or a J.C. Horn, who they both had already been taken by then. But when you have a guy like, I wouldn't have been mad if they would have taken him if those two were still on the board. That's what I'm getting at. And the guy is that special.
That's what I'm going to tell you right
and
now.
And I think he's that special.
As soon as Horn and Surtain were gone,
that's why I call you talking
noise.
noise.
We're like, we're trading down.
That's why I call you talking noise. I'm like, come on, man. We just got the best defensive player in the draft, man. And not only what he can do, he can inspire that whole defense. He can inspire. Right. So that shows you that that's how special they think he is. He can inspire that whole defense and just bring a whole new energy to that defense. And hopefully the scheme, they're going to let him get after the quarterback. But I thought even in the second round, the Cowboys picked up speed. They picked up mostly defense. Who they drafted in the second round? The cornerback from Kentucky. And he had like 4 interceptions last year. The guy is very talented, very talented. And
Kelvin Joseph.
Kelvin Joseph.
Kentucky.
I see the talent right there.
Pick.
Yeah, so they're going for speed. Now, some of these guys that they drafted, then they drafted a defensive tackle. And some of these guys they drafted, scouts were saying that they had talent but character issues. You know Jerry Jones.
He don't care about that.
He's going for the talent.
Did you see him in the war room when they made the Michael Parsons pick? He was getting off the phone. He would look like a bobblehead. He was so excited. He looked like a man that just sold 10 cattle.
Real talk.
Right here in
Real
Texas.
Talk.
He
So,
looked like a man that just sold 10 cattle. He was happy. I feel like, you know what? I never like giving these guys credit. Not that I hate the Cowboys or anything like that, but Jerry Jones
you hate them.
Jerry Jones has done things wrong for so long. You could criticize almost every move he's made, all the way up to the whole Dak Prescott ordeal. But the way this draft was handled, the way the Cowboys moved around in this draft, not afraid to trade with interdivision partners and getting the guys that they got at the value that they got them at and stockpiling picks by trading back. Man, you got to give Jerry Jones and Steve Jones
to give
a
them
lot
credit.
of credit, man.
And you know what? You have to give Jerry Jones and those guys credit for a lot of picks. No, I feel you on that. On a lot of picks, you know, lately, you know, the past number of years when they have, you know, when they built the offensive line up, I mean, they were doing things when Jerry Jones wanted Johnny Manziel, supposedly.
Oh boy, that would have been some crazy.
And, you know, I was a Johnny Manziel fan. Hey, I was a fan, but that's a story for a whole nother day. Yeah, I mean, at the time, it wasn't. Johnny was not trying to do the right thing.
And now with hindsight and all that.
Now with hindsight, but they've made some good picks, and of course, they're trying to solidify that defense. Now, like I said last week, though, and this goes for all teams, of course, they have to hit. They have to hit on these picks. The scouts have to do their homework, and you have to know that you're drafting some talent, and you have the coaches that can coach them up and bring the best out of their talent. So hopefully with the defensive linemen they have that can shore up the defensive tackle position, and again, with Dan Quinn being in the fold, I mean, again, I think Michael Parsons is just going to – he's one of those guys, he's like LeBron. He's going to elevate the players around him. And I just think he's going to elevate that defense, even the cornerbacks that they have on that team, to a whole new dimension. So I love the pick. Now, what you think about Miami? I love what Miami is doing. Hey, Eddie, Miami is the type of team, bro. You watch them pick, and you just sit back and say, that's a good pick. You just roll with anything Miami does right now. That's how cold they've been lately, man. I roll with anything they do. Anybody they pick, that's a good pick. You know.
They're really, really close to being that team.
You get Jalen Waddle for Tua? Come on, man.
I know. That's another thing.
That's Tyreek right there going to the Dolphins.
Think about how many players got reunited with their college teammates at the pro level. We saw that the Jaguars did it with Etienne and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
You see it just right there. Jalen Waddle.
Speed kills, man. Home run hitters, baby.
Well, who else? Who else am I missing where they're pairing these guys together, teams drafting the same – not the same position, but college teammates either at the quarterback position and then at skill position. The other ones, it'll come to me in a minute.
With Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Right there. Joe Burrow, that's the biggest one.
I was gonna bring that up about Jamar Chase.
Because we talked about, you know, how bad we thought they needed offensive line.
Yeah.
And I remember I told you,
I thought they were gonna take Panay Sewell.
Some teams just can't pass up that shiny new Lamborghini F a cop car.
That's what I was saying about
I'm telling
Pitts
you.
and
Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are about to make magic happen for Cincinnati. Things are looking up over there. If they can keep him upright, now I know they addressed the offensive line later on in the draft. Tell me, I know you love the Jalen Waddle pick. Are you as high on the Jamar Chase pick? I know he's a talented athlete, but with what happened to Burrow last year, you can make a case that
coming off an ACL.
May have been a little bit irresponsible to go after a wide receiver there, especially when you saw how deep the draft was, and maybe they could have moved back up or done some other things if they really wanted one of those first-round guys. So tell me what you think. How did they come out?
Well,
Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow.
You know what?
Is it going to lead to a lot of wins is what I want to know.
I think eventually it will. And you have to hope that the offensive linemen that you did draft in the later rounds, like I say, do your homework. You have to hope that because I think Jamar Chase is so special what they're trying to do. Now, I thought they should have taken Panay Sewell, but when they took Jamar Chase, I wasn't tripping. You know, I wasn't tripping at all. It's like Jamar Chase is special too. You're pairing him again with his college teammate who you saw what they did that last season. I mean, he won the Receiver of the Year, the Biletnikoff Award, and of course Joe Burrow won the Heisman Trophy. But I mean, the best offense probably in college football history to a national championship. That team went. And Jamar Chase is that special where I think Cincinnati is looking at it like they're finding the next Andy Dalton to A.J. Green, and when they were clicking at a high level. So they're trying to put that together right, and you're trying to make sure you give Joe Burrow that elite receiver because you don't know if you'll see the talents of a Jamar Chase come along next season. So, I can understand that pick. I thought they would have taken an offensive lineman, but that pick, Jamar Chase can turn out to be an all-pro. Put it like that. So,
certainly. Me personally, sometimes it's hard to resist. If I was the guy pulling the trigger to get a talent like Jamar Chase,
probably would. I probably would have done it.
But you know what? I really felt like they needed that stalwart offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. They needed that anchor that just gives Joe Burrow peace of mind.
Yeah,
especially coming
off that
an
knee injury like that.
But you know what? I'm excited to see what happens. You can't go wrong with a prospect as highly touted as Jamar Chase. I just wonder, being off the entire 2020 season with the opt-out and everything, how does he come into camp? Is he ready to roll, and is he going to pick up that offense and hit the ground running early on? Pairing him with Burrow is an underrated move because
that's a legitimate concern about the offseason.
But yes, Burrow's
if he's handling himself right, he'll be all right.
Yeah, I think so too. Burrow's understanding of the offense is going to really help him because his ability to communicate to him already, being that they were teammates in college, being able to relate the offense maybe to what they did then.
Yeah, they have a chemistry. They have a connection already.
All that's going to help him pick it up at a faster pace. Mm-hmm. And once he gets it, he can stop thinking and play freely. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, a guy can do it all again. A guy that's a home run hitter that can be a big play receiver, but also has the size like 6'1", 200 pounds, something like that, and can run over the middle and be physical like a Dez Bryant, but also, again, can take the top off of defense and can go get it. I mean, he can snag it, too, and he can snag and snare anything that comes in his vicinity, too. And you can get him the ball on the screen route, and he can take it to the house. Big play all day, big play, Jamar Chase. So, hey, I don't have an argument about that pick right there. I mean, and I think Kyle Pitts will go right into Atlanta and be the superstar. They took him at number 4. So it's okay for Atlanta to have Kyle Pitts, but everyone up in arms about Dallas having him. Right. Like Atlanta, didn't have enough already. But it's okay for Atlanta to take him, though.
Everybody's me. I was up in arms. Dallas ain't getting Kyle Pitts.
Dallas don't need Kyle Pitts. They have his offense already. But, Atlanta got them a superstar.
They sure did, man. That is one hell of an athlete.
Yes, he is, man.
Best tight end they've had running routes out there since Tony Gonzalez.
For Matt Ryan to prolong his career.
And I mean, they're in a position where moving on from Matt Ryan right now just isn't feasible. Salary cap uncertainty in the future. Nobody wants a major dead money cap hit. That's why I think you're seeing quarterbacks who are probably going to get traded like Aaron Rodgers. We're definitely going to talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
You're seeing teams hold off on trading them so they can do it post June 1st. Teams don't want to take that major dead money cap hit that you have to take when you trade a quarterback that's under contract. Atlanta's in the same boat. They saw Kyle Pitts there as an immediate upgrade to their offense any way you cut it. Mm-hmm. Julio probably going to be out the door.
Maybe. Yeah, if so, they definitely need Kyle Pitts. If that's the case.
But they're definitely going to.
But you have Calvin Ridley on that other side. Julio can still ball when he's healthy.
Guys who they think are young.
He has
and
a bad foot.
Ridley, that's another thing.
He has a bad foot.
But hey, they've got pieces there to maybe turn that offense back into something that it was during the days of Kyle Shanahan and when they made a Super Bowl run. The other tandem I told you about, Mac Jones goes to New England. He's going to have Harris in the backfield. What's the other kid? The other Harris brother. What's his first name?
He's going to have. Oh yeah, that he played college ball with.
Yeah. I always want to say Dwayne Harris when I think about it, but it's not. What is that young man's name? I can't remember.
You can look it up.
Asking Greg was a bad idea. I knew it.
Now, I usually remember that stuff, but some of those players that I don't really.
Tell me what you think while I look it up about Najee Harris going to the Steelers. Immediate upgrade.
Najee Harris, I love that pick.
For an offense that has been sputtering a little bit.
Yeah.
Big Ben, they're going to make one more go of it with Roethlisberger. I think it was a very good idea.
Hey, you know what?
Add that type of playmaker, that type of ball carrier.
Damian Harris.
Damien Harris.
I was sitting there like, okay.
Again. But
I had to go to the memory bank. Nah, but go ahead.
But definitely, I've lost my train of thought. Pick me up.
I said Damian Harris.
No,
Harris.
we're talking about
you
Mac
were talking
Jones.
about Mac Jones,
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris going to the Steelers.
Tell me what you think that's going to bring to an offense that was really they struggled to put up points like they used to. Juju Smith-Schuster was not his usual self last year, but with the emergence of Chase Claypool and now the addition of Najee Harris, we see the Pittsburgh Steelers come back and actually contend for a division title again this year. We already know the defense can play lights out with the likes of Devin Bush,
who's coming back from injury,
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of studs on the defense.
One thing
the
about
was
Pittsburgh,
really uncertain, and so was the quarterback position. Tell me what Najee Harris does for that.
You know how I feel about Najee Harris. I think he was the best running back in the draft. You saw what he did to Ohio State in that national championship game. But this past season, as a whole, in general, I mean, I've really paid attention to and watched him. I said, that guy's special. And he was the top running back coming out of high school, and he really lived up to it. But when I saw the improvement in the passing game and giving Mac Jones that outlet to throw the ball to, not just a screen pass, but running routes out of the backfield. I mean, the guy, and he can be a home run hitter, but he's a guy, he's just a workhorse. He just makes it happen. He's just one of those type guys. Give him the football and let him go to work. And I think that, but you need some offensive linemen as well. So I thought maybe they probably would have taken an offensive lineman. They could have taken an offensive lineman right there. But I love the pick. I think Najee Harris is that special. And of course, hopefully, if you hit on the other picks, and one thing you know about Pittsburgh, and I've made this point on the show plenty of times too, one thing, and it holds true every year it seems like too, bro. One thing I notice about Pittsburgh, and I've been noticing it for a while, they draft, and you've heard me talk about it on the show, every draft, they just draft from big-name colleges. It's like, I really think that's part of their thinking, like we're just going to make sure every year, all their draft picks, you can best believe their first-round draft pick is always going to be from a big-name college, and on down the line. And say the same thing for this past draft.
Head coaches at those programs,
and they are definitely one of those teams, and they think they played in big games and things like that. But hopefully they're evaluating the talent correctly, though, not just the fact that they're playing. Because you can find a lot of talent.
Makes the evaluator look good.
Absolutely.
In a deep draft like this one.
Absolutely, a very deep draft. So hopefully they hit on those picks, But I think they hit on the Najee Harris pick. But hopefully they have the offensive line to really go along with that to help him out and to help Big Ben out. I like Devontae Smith. I like that pick by the Eagles. I mean, Heisman Trophy winner, who reminds me of Deshaun Jackson. I mean, big play receiver, wiry, who can just go get it, who can make it happen. So they have them. So Jalen Hurts has him his former teammate, he has him a legitimate big play weapon now who can also return punts. Same thing Jalen Waddle can do for the Miami Dolphins. Both home run hitters that can make it happen anytime you put the ball in their hands. And I like that pick, Devontae Smith as well, man. But again, I'm very pumped about the Justin Fields pick to the Chicago Bears. And I'm very pumped about that pick. And also, I like Mac Jones falling to the New England Patriots. I think they found their quarterback, and they're lucky to have gotten to Mac Jones.
Man, you know what? But as the whole San Francisco trade up to 3 was broken down, a lot of people were talking like it doesn't make sense for Mac Jones to go here. He's going to fall into the middle of the first round. And there was so much talk, the Patriots are falling in love with Justin Fields. They're going to move up to try to nab that guy. I wasn't so